Rick Davies, the soulful baritone to Roger Hodgson's soaring falsetto, has finally pressed the ultimate pause, departing this mortal concert at the age of 81. Born on a summer's day, July 22, 1944, in the unassuming town of Swindon, England, Rick's musical journey began not with a plan, but with a revelation. Legend has it that young Rick stumbled on a jazz record and thought, "Now this is what life sounds like." From that moment on, drums flew out the window, and pianos became his lifelong companion. His childhood crush on jazz, blues, and the irresistible pull of ivory keys set him on a collision course with destiny, and eventually, with Supertramp. Fast forward to the late 1960s, and Rick did what any aspiring rock genius would do. He placed an ad. Not for a roommate or a used guitar, but for musicians to form a band. As if fate were auditioning for a rom-com, in walked Roger Hodgson. The quiet guitar wizard with a voice that could make angels cancel their plans. Together, Rick and Roger became the Lennon and McCartney of progressive rock, only with more sax solos and longer song titles. They formed Supertramp around 1969, and soon the world would hear that unmistakable combo of Rick's raspy, grounded vocals and Roger's ethereal high notes. The band's early albums flirted with cult status, and while critics scratched their heads, fans just knew these guys were onto something. Then came 1974's Crime of the Century. The Game Changer. Suddenly, Supertramp wasn't just another British band with a weird name. They were a force. A philosophical, saxophone-filled, genre-bending force. Songs like Dreamer and Bloody Well Right had both brains and beats, a rare combo in the age of disco and glitter. But let's be honest, the real jackpot hit in 1979. That's when Breakfast in America dropped. It wasn't just an album. It was an entire movement in a vinyl sleeve, featuring tracks like The Logical Song, Goodbye Stranger, Take the Long Way Home, and of course, Breakfast in America. The record exploded. Multi-platinum. Chart-dominating. Radio-invading. You couldn't walk into a diner, a roller rink, or your cousin's wedding without hearing Rick's keyboard and voice serenading the air. And that Wurlitzer? Pure Davies. While Roger's falsetto floated above, Rick's vocals grounded the music like a warm cup of coffee laced with sarcasm. He was the musical straight man in a band of dreamers. And we loved him for it. Of course, no rock story is complete without a little heartbreak. By the early 80s, creative differences, that beloved phrase used to describe literally every band breakup in history, drove Roger Hodgson to pursue a solo career. Rick, ever the stoic captain, steered the Supertramp ship through the post-Hodgson era. Albums came and went. Fans remained loyal, if not a little nostalgic. And Rick? He kept playing. He kept writing. He kept being the solid, keyboard-hugging, blues-loving soul we all counted on. By the 2000s, Supertramp was more legend than tour bus, but Rick wasn't done. Not by a long shot. He continued performing under the name, Ricky and the Rockets, often popping up at local gigs, intimate venues, and anywhere a piano could fit. He didn't need stadiums. He needed soul. In 2015, life threw its toughest chord change. Rick was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, a rare and stubborn form of cancer. The band's tour was cancelled, and fans around the world held their breath. But Rick? He fought. Quietly. Gracefully. In true Rick Davies fashion, no drama, no spotlight, just resilience. For over a decade, he lived with the disease, continuing to play when he could and staying close to the music. Then came September 6, 2025. At his home on Long Island, surrounded by his loved ones, Rick took his final bow. He was 81. No encore needed. What made Rick Davies so special wasn't just the music. It was the way he carried himself through it. Never flashy. Never needy. Never the guy trashing hotel rooms or making headlines for beef with a bass player. He was the guy at the keyboard, letting the music do the talking. He was married to his manager and muse, Sue, for over 50 years. A true rock roll unicorn in a world of 3-month engagements and tabloid divorces. Together, they built not just a career, but a life. A long, steady, beautiful life. Rick's passing isn't just the end of a musical chapter. It's the quiet closing of a book filled with warmth, humor, wisdom, and the kind of melodies that stick with you long after the final note. Because Rick didn't write songs to impress. He wrote songs to connect. To challenge. To question. To comfort. And that's what makes this goodbye so hard, and so worth celebrating. Let's take a moment to remember the voice behind lines like, "Right, you're bloody well right," and, "When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful." He gave us songs that questioned the world but still let us dance in it. He gave us ballads that broke our hearts and keyboard riffs that made us grin. And he did it all with a voice that felt like a gravel road leading straight to your gut. Rick Davies wasn't the loudest. Or the flashiest. He didn't need to be. He was the heartbeat. The rhythm under the chaos. The guy who kept the song going when the spotlight moved on. So here's to Rick. To the music. To the Wurlitzer solos. To the sideways glances during live shows when a note hit just right. To every fan who belted out, "Goodbye Stranger," on a lonely drive home at 2 a.m. To every kid who first learned piano because of school. To the millions of quiet souls who found themselves in a Supertramp song. Rick Davies may have left the stage. But the song? It plays on. Not in just the notes, but in the feeling they gave us. The way they made the world seem just a little smarter, a little funnier, a little more worth waking up for. So thank you, Rick. For the keys. For the questions. For the strange, wonderful journey. Rest easy, maestro. The long way home just got a little longer without you. But we'll keep playing. One chord at a time. One dream at a time. One bloody well-right memory at a time. And somewhere cosmic and cool, Rick's probably already at a piano, working on a new tune, half blues, half mischief. And all heart.